All right, I reviewed that. I'm going to look at this. I mentioned in that last video and pointed at this, but you can't really see it. That's why it's not that noticeable. But when you're painting and you have things like this happen, oops, I was gaily painting around, I guess, and flicked something off of there. Well, that's going to stay. If you try to get rid of it, that's a problem. This doesn't bother me so much when I look at it in person, but when I see it on screen, it's like a really noticeable mark. So I want to try to blend that out a little, but I'm not going to bother with that. That's part of the process. This actually was where I started out with the eyes. I had started out with all 4 on one line, then I moved them up. So, and then I did put a very light wash right over here. I might put another one. I'm still working on the mouth. And other than that, I'm deeming it done. Oh, look, this is so nice. I like this a lot. Let's see. The gray hair. I didn't do that by working a resist. But what looks white there is actually, it is some very light blue from earlier. So that's what happens in detailing. You can get in and do stuff with your white, but you have to remember to protect it. Okay. I think it looks pretty good. Sure has taken a long time. And this one wasn't intended as a bad pet portrait. It was just like, here's this picture, do a drawing of it, and let's see what we have. So I did a fast one, but then since that was not really that was just a fun thing to do, I continued working on it to finish it up in a full painting, because I have the opportunity to do a whole painting from something. I don't have a plan, but I have this, right, that I'm looking at and I have to figure out, and I'm doing it without pencil. And you've seen in this whole series, I did have to take a break and draw it out in pencil to get things back together. And then I went back to this. And then after drawing this, also moving the eyes around and us on it made me think of Picasso and having eyes from different angles. And Shockboxx was having the abstract show, so I thought, well, I'll abstract this one for fun and try to move the eyes all over. I wound up with something very different. It's not here right now. It's at the gallery. And then, oh, I have the other little drawn abstract. The painting of it's in the other room. Looks pretty good now. It might make a nice coloring book page. I don't know. And then there's one more in the works. And when I finish the painting of this one, then I'll be able to get back onto this watercolor block. I called it watercolor board on one of these videos. I didn't mean to. And I think I will do a little something on that shirt to match it up. So here we go. Now you can see this good. Oh, my water up here. And that's my go-to cerulean. So over here, I'm kind of replicating this, which is many, many layers. But I'm just going to match the color. Also because it's a flat texture against this that's behind it, the flat texture of the t-shirt. Okay. I'm going to have to go back over the video and see what over this video and see what it is. Oh, that eye. I remember. I'm going to do that right now. It's going to take the most water. And I'm going to use my iron oxide red. Iron oxide. Water, okay? Did I do it? Not yet. Tiny bit of iron oxide. A little bit of yellow. Oops, yellow ochre. And also, I should comment on the last video when I'm down to these guys. And I'm painting. Sometimes I'll put a little bit of a wash and be doing that. Some people think that that's how you do the whole painting, because sometimes, you know, in movies and stuff, you'll see people going, you know, finishing a little area, not doing. Don't do that. It's big to small, big to small. Okay, light to dark, big to small, far to near. Protect your whites. Oh, I think this is going to do it. Still dark, but so I'm doing detailing and, you know, more shaping. Let's see. Don't want any of this darker hair to get out there into that nice white hair there. So I'm kind of dotting in here, but it's wet, so I know it's going to be spreading. Hope this narration helps a little bit. Well, that's looking better. I don't know if it can be seen, but perhaps subliminally it's looking better. Once again, just because you can't see it, wait a minute, let me say that nicely. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it isn't there. I'm just going to do a little bit of filler here. There. I'm taking out a little bit of color there with this one. This is a synthetic brush, I think. No, it doesn't say. It's too springy to be lamb hair, so. Eyes need a little more. I'm mixing a tiny bit of brown into the blue to make a black. I go back in with those pupils. And, all right, let's do some yellow ochre with iron. Not, this is wet down in here. Okay. Like this kind of noodling around. No, you're not supposed to be doing that. But I'm doing it in here into a lot of water as well. There. Especially on, you know, skin, you try to get any marks that you make to show shape. You know, unless it's like a high contrast kind of thing where you're defining the light and the dark and the shape at the same time. You try to get your colors to blend out into water. And I think this is where it, oh, that dot is still there. All right, I'm going to let that sit for a second. We're living dangerously at this point, but I don't want to put any more over that dot to darken it. I've got water in my brush now. I'm bringing that darkness up into where it should be. Keep that light. And back over to where we started today. Now, and again, like happened with the eye on the abstract one, when you're detailing, don't over detail just one spot. You know, and that's again a problem you run into when you paint small areas here and here and here instead of painting all over the whole page. This needs more definition suddenly. Okay. I don't think that's wet. It's acting like it is. That looks better. All right, now I definitely have to let it dry. Yep, I should get the face of the watch in there as black because it's all of these dots again. And you can tell what time it is. The hands are on there. So I'm mixing my Van Dyke Brown and my blue manganese black. And I got plenty of water. So I'm just not making brush strokes. I'm pushing the water around. Sometimes we're making brush strokes. And other times we're just moving the water to where we want it to be. That looks good. And the other reason, just the last little look I took at this, I said, yes, I do want to darken the face of the watch, not just because of the black circles and the black dots everywhere, but because the white takes focus away from the dog. Dipping a little bit darker into the water that's already there, and that white has been outlined, and the outline's disappearing into the same color paint. Now we need to get this hair off of here. I don't have my glasses on. There it is. At least it's, I don't know if it's